everybody. I'm glad you chose to join us for the Realist State. Welcome to the show. This is our bonus episode, New Year's edition, and we've got a really special guest here today for the conversation. Y'all know what it is here. We simply try to facilitate conversations that will allow us to move forward to where we're trying to make it to, based on a real approach from where we are. In other words, we're moving from the real, but stretching toward the ideal. That's what the Real Estate is all about. So thank you for joining us today. We have a really special guest that we are excited to share with you today. He's the host of Keeping It Real with Shaquille show. He's the host of Dude Loves Food show. He's the co-host of the College Football Highlights podcast. He's also the executive producer of DeVea's Cool Land. We're going to hear something about that today as well. He's the producer of the NASCAR podcast. He's also the co-founder of the Outstanding Student Scholarship program here in Lynchburg, Virginia, which is a nationwide program. He'll say more about that as well. He's the Associate Director of Diversity and Engagement at Liberty University. He's also a new father. He's got a lot going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the Real Estate, my brother, Shaquille Cook. Well, brother, I'm glad you chose to join us today. I'm glad you were free to come and hang out on the Real Estate today. You are one of the realest dudes I know, man, so I'm glad you're here.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Glad you're here, man.
It feels great to be here.
Yeah?
It's great to be here, yeah. I feel right at home.
Good stuff, man. You are right at home. So, man, you've got so much going on.
Yeah.
You've got your hands in a lot of pots, a lot of projects, and you're really making some noise here in Lynchburg area. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about who you are, where you come from, what's going on. Who is this guy, Shaquille Cook?
Yeah, man. So, I was born in Mount Vernon, New York. I was raised in North Carolina, Henderson, North Carolina, and I came to Lynchburg to go to college at Liberty. And I graduated 2015 with a degree in psychology. Right. But, something life-changing happened right after I graduated and started my first job. I didn't give myself a break. I went right into my master's degree. Since I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to be a celebrity counselor. Yeah. And so I wanted to be the counselor that all the celebs went to. And so after I graduated, 4 classes into my master's, I ran into a little crossroad. I said, man, this is going to take a lot of work for me to get this done, working full-time and pursuing a master's degree. Is this really what I want to do? Yeah. And so I went through a little 6-month challenging, I like to call it the wilderness. Okay. I went through the wilderness for about 6 months, and I asked myself, what is it that I really want to do? I say, I want to help people and I want to be on camera while doing it. And so that's how Keeping It Real with Shaquille was birthed. It started in my bedroom. Wow. All I had was just my cell phone, and I had some encouraging messages that I came from the heart to touch the people, and I talk about everything. And so Keeping It Real with Shaquille, the show itself grew into more than just a show. It grew into a brand. We have merchandise. We have, we have more shows now, as you mentioned in the intro. Dude Loves Food. We have College Football Highlight podcast, DeVea's Cool Land, which I'm producing, and now the NASCAR podcast, which I linked up with some really cool people to help produce that. And now we have a business that we, put everything under Cook Blue Productions. Okay. And so now it's like a lot of other ventures that I'm still involved in, camera operations down at University of Virginia, ACC Network, had a great opportunity with those guys, and so still doing that. And so, but it all started with just something, small and simple, just find my passion, and it just grew from there. We got the foundation straight, and then we just built from there, and it just, blew. OV13, the new body oil that just dropped a few months ago. So,
okay. So let's go there. Because I want to zoom in on some of your current projects, right? Because I know the people would really want to take advantage of this stuff if as they know about it. So tell me about OV13. What is that product you got going?
Yes, OV13, my new body oil, just came out a few months ago, and so last year, 2019, I started working on it. But even before then, when my father was still living, I talked about some goals that I had, and one of my goals was to always have my own cologne, because I look at ownership, and when I look at ownership, I look at it as you're putting your imprint on everything that you have. Yeah. Everything that you have is your own. even if you buy a suit and you get it tailor-made, it's tailor-made to fit you and nobody else.
Yeah.
So I wanted my stamp on everything that I use every single day. And one of those things is cologne. The people who I look up to and follow the business model of Diddy, Jay-Z, they all have their own cologne. Jordan, they have their own scent, so I wanted mine.
Yeah.
And so I started working on it in 2019. I was very hesitant to let it out because it's my first time getting into the cosmetics. So I was nervous about it, but I kept seeing other young black entrepreneurs launching out their barbecue sauce or their hair growth oil. And I said, it's my turn to do mine. And so OV is orange vanilla. Those are the key components. And the 13 represents my nephew, Drayon Biggs Brawley, who passed away 2019. Number 13 was his number, his football number. So I combined the two because everything that I do has a purpose and a meaning. And that's how I'm able to honor, those who went before me and even those who transitioned in this life by whatever I do on this earth. Even if it's something as simple as putting number 13 on a body oil, it makes a difference. It has a meaning. And that gives everything I do meaning in life.
Wow. That's strong stuff coming from such seemingly a young brother.
Right.
Doesn't seem like, based on averages, I guess, you've been around long enough to have that much wisdom and such a deep place to draw from. But that's pretty cool. So the OV13 is not only a product that you've come up with in order to really just expand in your entrepreneurial ventures, but you've been also able to use that and make the connection to honor one of our young soldiers that was cut down. And I think that's really, really remarkable to be able to transition an energy that could have been a whole nother kind of energy. And you took and you made it into something that is productive and is helping people. So now, here's a Realist State exclusive. You're not gonna get this anywhere else. And he wasn't even ready for this. I didn't ask him about this before the interview. So it may cost me a couple of bucks. I'm praying that you guys will support the show so we can make it happen. But I would like to give 3 bottles of OV13 to the first people who comment down there in the comments section. And the comment needs to explicitly say this. It needs to say, keeping it real with the Realist State.
Yeah.
All right, if you put that down in the comments section, keeping it real with the Realist State, then I'm gonna personally reach out to you and hook you up with your own free bottle of OV13. It'll be on me. And the only thing you gotta do is get in the comments section and then tell all your friends and everybody where you got it from so you can support it. That's gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna have everybody out here smelling fresh, bro.
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. I like that.
Excellent. So now what does it smell like? We're gonna move on to the next product, but what is the scent here?
Yeah, so the orange, it gives it that strong scent. Because when you see orange, when you smell orange, it's very distinct.
Yeah.
But then the vanilla, it gives it that smooth, sweet taste. Not taste, but
you might
go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Oh man.
Yeah. But when you use it, for those 3 of you who go ahead and comment, when you use it, you put it into action, it's gonna make a difference in your life. I can promise you that.
That's right.
You're gonna smell like the best you. You're gonna be the best you. And so it's something that like I said, the orange is strong, but then the vanilla is sweet. And then honestly, it kind of reminds me of life.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have those rough around the edge moments. Sometimes that orange flavor is gonna wake you up.
Yeah.
But then you have that vanilla that really keeps it calm, cool, collective, and it kind of goes hand in hand.
I love it.
And so that just goes to show something as simple as a body oil can have not only a message, but it can change lives.
I love it.
That's what you're doing with the real estate.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing with your, all your ventures and the things that we do together.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna talk a little bit about that later on, our partnership and how that's going on. So yeah,
we got some stuff happening, man. And the good news is, all of this is real time.
Yeah.
So one of the goals of the Real Estate podcast, and I know it's a common goal we share in common with Keeping It Real with Shaquille, is that whatever the conversation is, it's got to come from a place of authenticity.
Right.
And so now we talked a little bit about one of your projects, but I want to dig a little deeper now into the thing that we've all kind of been going through. So this is a New Year's special, right? But it's coming at the end of a doozy of a year. I think we all can agree that 2020 has been a challenging time for everybody. And so now I want you as a young man to help me gain some perspective on how you've been able to sustain in all your projects, in all of the things you have going on. You've also got some other big news going on in your life.
Right.
Recently, you can tell the people yourself. What's the big thing that just happened in your life?
Yeah,
man?
my lovely wife, Deshana and I, we just had our baby girl, Cairo Solana Cook. She was born November the 10th.
Yeah.
And so, such a big blessing.
Hey, applause goes right there.
Yeah, I'm proud dad, very proud dad. Very proud dad. It's something beautiful to see somebody grow every single day. And truth be told, we're growing every single day. Yeah. And I know that 2020 has been a very challenging year for all of us, but 2020 didn't have to be bad as long as we had the right perspective. Because, personally, I grew a lot in 2020, not even just, through investments, and we're going to talk a little bit about real estate and investments, but personally, I've grown. I had to look and see what is essential.
Yeah.
You hear so much in the news, essential businesses.
Yeah.
Well, what is essential in my life?
Essential.
What do I have to have? What can I go without? So many people losing jobs, and I had to look at it and say, man, I didn't miss a paycheck.
Yeah.
My hours weren't cut back.
Yeah.
God is faithful.
Yeah.
God kept my family and I,
Yeah.
and a lot of families throughout this pandemic healthy, safe, lack nothing.
Yeah.
And so that gave me all the confidence to say, I can step into any year, no matter what the year brings, no matter what haymakers are thrown at me, no matter what roadblocks or forks in the road, I could pick up the fork and eat noodles with it.
Wow.
I could take that haymaker and go back to my coach and say, hey, I'm not even going to avoid it. I'm going to let my jaw get strengthened up so I can take a couple more so I can give the final knockout.
Yeah.
So it's all in what we make out of it. And so that's something that I learned doing this year. We'll touch a little bit about some of the specifics.
Yeah, and when the going gets tough to get going.
Yeah.
And we don't go home, we go hard.
Right.
And that's kind of how we're cut. And I'm really proud to be connected to somebody like you who not only has really shown that you've got some business acumen, you've got the ability to deal with people, but you're also able to undergird all of that with a spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
And knowing where your help is really coming from, knowing where your greatest support system is. I think I've seen you make it through some tough stuff, and become even yet the more successful, because where the source of your strength is, man. So that's powerful stuff. So now, all right. So if 2020 has been a challenge, but you've used your spiritual perspective and you've used some real wisdom that you've expressed thus far, what are your thoughts about, and maybe some of your goals, some of the things we can look forward to seeing coming up in 2021?
Right.
What's going on? What you got up your sleeve?
Well, right now, of course, you and I are working together. My wife and I are working together on finding the property.
Yeah.
And so that is definitely one of the goals in 2021. My wife has a goal, even before we met, which is why it's important to marry the right woman, by the way.
There it is.
To own multiple properties before she turns 30.
That's right.
And so, when she discussed that goal with me, everything just went hand in hand. I got my taste, she has her taste. We put our tastes together and find out what's perfect for us, and to look at it as an investment.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that we have coming up this year. Looking to find that property, that right investment property, so that we can create that generational wealth.
Yeah.
So that we can have something to pass down to our child. So we could make sure that somebody in the community has a place to stay.
Yeah.
And that passive income. So that, even when everything else stops or hours at work are reduced, you still have income coming in.
Yeah.
And, that's the key.
They call it mailbox money.
Mailbox money. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle.
Hey.
The mailbox money. Because 2020 taught us that, man, if you have your hands in multiple things, even when one well runs dry, 6 other wells can keep running.
Yeah.
So what is essential? A home is essential. Everybody needs a home.
Yeah.
Grocery store is essential.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to get food.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go open up a grocery store right now, but I want a home. I want multiple.
So you're talking about multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
I got a business partner of mine from years ago. He's actually one of my cousins. Shout out to G. McMillan, the fourth, G4. He came up with a concept called Shades of Green.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what Shades of Green represents is the fact that, green, the color green representing fertility, representing that which is prospering, representing money, representing growth and life. We've got to have multiple shades of green operating in our lives,
right?
So that we're never dependent on one shade of green so much that if that shade changes, then we're in bad shape.
Right.
And I think that's a good conversation to really kind of share with our communities. The fact that it's great to have a job. It's great to do what you've got to do with a 9-to-5 and with some W-2 income and all of that. But it's even better and more secure when we find creative ways to come up with business plans and do what we can to own our own enterprises,
right,
and own our own endeavors, so that if the shades of green ever change, then we're able to kind of help one another survive and keep on thriving. You mentioned it. I gotta take a quick pause for the cause. Here's your cheap and shameless plug commercial. I am Byron J. Elliott, your favorite realtor, representing eXp Realty. And if you need help finding a property to purchase or invest, or if you need help selling a property, if you need help finding somewhere to lease or rent, any of your real estate needs, reach out to us, please. Byron J. Elliott at eXp Realty. The website is byronelliott.exprealty.com. Holla. Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to do is ask you, if you would, before we continue in our conversation, please smash that like button, share, subscribe, invite somebody here, let somebody know we're having a powerful conversation here, and they don't want to miss it. All right. So now, let's go to the next stage in the conversation.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit now about your work out in the community.
Right.
So I know that you're connected with one of the local colleges, and your job is to basically engage people and sometimes help people get to the table that would not have otherwise been to a table of conversation and prosperity. Talk to me a little bit about your community work.
Yeah. So right now I serve as Associate Director of Diversity Engagement at Liberty University and our Office of Equity and Inclusion. So my job is to build a great rapport between Liberty University and the city of Lynchburg. Mm-hmm. And so a couple of things working along with Food for Thought, Beacon of Hope. We have our Pastoral Outreach Scholarship, which a couple of your colleagues actually are recipients of our scholarship. And so building a relationship with the community can be a difficult thing. And it's not necessarily all the time has something to do with you. Sometimes it has a connection to who you're connected to, or maybe somebody else's experience, or something that they experienced with the organization that you work. We've had some challenging times at LAU in 2020, apart from the pandemic. But one thing that I've seen is that there can still be a bridge that can be built. There's still room for reconciliation. There's still room to grow together in spite of some of the things that may have happened that have been detrimental to the community, and some who even are working together. And so one thing that I've learned with this job is it's about selflessness and it's about investment. And I know I'm at the right podcast to talk about investment.
Yeah, brother.
Because investment not all the time has to deal with money. Investment is dealing, investing your time, your energy, your words of wisdom, encouragement. Wherever there's a need, there can be an investment that you have. And I think that sometimes we can get a little bit small-minded that we fail to see the big picture. And so working with LU, I saw that through the job, it blessed me to see there's a need in the community. And even with that, I was able to even find students for our scholarship that my wife and I found.
Nice.
And so even students who I've been working with through Beacon of Hope, we had 2 students over the past 2 years receive a scholarship from us.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me, based on the work you're already engaged in, you were doing some things for your job.
Right.
But then you were inspired to do some things of yourself and through your company that would be a benefit to people in your community.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned that you gave out some scholarships.
Right.
Do you mean that you handed out the check for a scholarship that somebody else was doing? Are you telling me that you and your team have put together a scholarship for for your own community?
And my team and I, we put together a scholarship for our own community.
Wow.
And like I mentioned, investing into the community, because I know that you know this as well as anybody else.
Yeah.
You have a life experience.
Yeah.
I have a life experience, and sometimes during our experience, we hit those forks in the road, and we say, one day I want to give back to the same way how people gave to me to help me deal with some of these forks in the road.
Yeah.
And so when I was in high school, on senior night, I was awarded with about a little over $3,000 in outside scholarship money. Mm-hmm. And I remember just how that felt. I was fasting, I was praying, I'm like, Lord, I need this help. I got my financial aid, but there's still a balance on the account.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the financial aid covers a lot doesn't mean that it's all covered.
Yeah.
And so when I received those scholarships, I sat down, I never forget it. I said, one day I'm gonna have my own scholarship, whether it's $500, whether it's $50. I'm gonna find a way to give back how people gave to me.
Wow.
And in 2019, my wife and I, we sat down together and we mapped it all out. We started the Keep It Real Shaquille Outstanding Student Scholarship Fund. One recipient, Michaela Wilkins, received $500.
Shout out to Michaela.
And a proud young lady who's doing great at Old Dominion. And she goes to Rivermont Baptist Church. Shout out to Rivermont Baptist Church. RBC's in the house, shameless plug.
Yeah.
And then this year we gave out a $1,500 scholarship to Mr. Travar Saunders, who's going off to Virginia Tech.
Congratulations.
And we have one more $1,500 scholarship to give out before the end of the year as well.
Wow.
Which is what these wristbands are about that you see right here. And I'm wearing one for any any money, whether it's a penny, whether it's $1, $100. Everybody who makes a donation receives one of these wristbands that says, "I'm outstanding."
I'm outstanding.
And it reminds you, and I wear it every day. It reminds me that I'm investing into the community, because that person that we're helping out with a scholarship, Michaela may be our nurse one day.
Yeah.
Travar, you never know. He may be the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Well, we helped this individual make those next steps.
That's right.
Just how somebody helped me make my next steps.
That's right.
So we all reach a point in time in our life where we want to give back to our community, and we want to give back in a way how people gave to us.
Yeah.
Because we know exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
And so, this is why the Real Estate Podcast, very, very, very important. Not only just for all of us who are local watching, but anybody across the world. I don't care if you're Saudi Arabia, America, China. Investment is important.
Yeah.
That's why this podcast exists. So.
Excellent. Man, the investment portion of that is so close to our hearts, because we realize that if you're looking for a harvest, then you've got to sow a seed.
Right.
And you can't be looking for the seed to be the same thing as the fruit. The seed takes some cultivation, it takes some time, takes some sun, takes some rain, takes some elements, takes some seasons. And another thing that you mentioned really resonates with the real estate, and that is building bridges where walls used to stand.
Right.
And sometimes you got to use the same materials.
Right.
The walls sometimes have to be torn down, but then you can pick up that same rubble. You can pick up those same bricks, those same stones, and build bridges now.
Right.
Of connection where there used to be walls of separation. So I'm really proud of who you are. Now, this obviously isn't your last time. This will not be your last time hanging out with us on the Real Estate Podcast.
That's right.
We just wanted to get the year started off right. But if folks want to reach out to you, you've got all kinds of swag. You've got mugs. What you got here?
I got dream journals. I have pens. We have coffee mugs and our coasters, our body oil, and of course, if you want to make an investment in our scholarship We have a wristband. Shout out to my wife. It was her idea.
So how can people get in touch with you if there are people on the show right now,
right?
And they wanted to contribute? How could they go about doing it?
You can reach me on Facebook, Shaquille Cook. Go to my YouTube, Shaquille E Cook. You can reach me on Instagram at Real Shaquille Cook. So those are ways that you can get in contact with me.
Excellent. And if you're having any trouble, reach out to us at the Realist State. We will make the connection for you. That's a part of what we believe our job to be, to make some connections between people and the resources that they need. Shaq, Brother Shaquille, this has been really a cool conversation. I'm hoping you'll come back soon so we can continue it. Maybe next time you come, you can bring your lovely wife.
Yeah.
And we can talk a little stuff about real estate and investment and what we're getting our hands into these days. And
that's right.
Some of the projects we're gonna take on. As we bring this conversation to a close, I want to remind you again, please like, subscribe, share, invite your friends, your loved ones, tell somebody about the Realist State podcast. It is our goal to create conversations, both local, national, even global, that will allow people to move forward based on an awareness of possibilities they may not have thought were real for them, but we want to see if we can make those things a little bit more tangible. Our guest today, we want you to give a shout out again to our good friend, our good brother, Shaquille Cook from Cook Blue Productions. Reach out to him on all the platforms. Make sure you support the scholarship. Make sure you get some of the merch, some of the products that he has to offer. And we'll be back to you next time for our continued conversation on the Real Estate Podcast. But listen, I gotta remind you, like we always do, wherever you go, whatever you do, always make sure you remember to keep it real.